I have survived the Dark Ages, slipped through the skeletal fingers of the Black Death, and dodged thousands of wooden stakes wielded by overzealous, garlic-reeking hunters. But I swear by the dusty ashes of my great-uncle Dracula, the thing that is truly draining my life force these nights isn't holy water or a silver bullet. No, it is the sheer, unadulterated agony of watching Gen Z pull an all-nighter to grind for a deadline. Tell me, why in the name of the abyss is a 1,000-year-old apex predator being forced to go to bed earlier than his own dinner? Allow me to introduce myself. I am Count Valerius. I was born in the year of our dark Lord 1026, amidst the biting winters of Wallachia. I am a creature of pure bloodline, draped in centuries of aristocratic majesty. I have danced in the grand ballrooms of Versailles, whispered into the ears of conquering emperors, and watched empires crumble into dust. Throughout the millennia, my kind has possessed a singular, terrifying allure. We are the masters of the shadows, the elegant phantoms of your deepest nightmares. Or at least, we were. Adapting to the mortal world has never been a particular hardship for me. When the horse-drawn carriage was replaced by the automobile, I simply upgraded to a tinted Rolls-Royce. When handwritten letters gave way to the telephone, and then the smartphone, I found I quite enjoyed the convenience of ordering silk cravats online. I am not some dusty relic incapable of embracing the future. However, absolutely nothing, not the Industrial Revolution, not the World Wars, not even the invention of neon lighting, could have prepared me for the catastrophic culture shock of the generation born after 1997. Gen Z. They are a paradox wrapped in an oversized hoodie, shuffling through life in those atrocious foam clogs they call Crocs. They are simultaneously the most emotionally fragile and terrifyingly apathetic creatures to ever walk the earth. And they are, quite frankly, ruining the vampire industry. The world has changed with dizzying speed, but the greatest threat to my immortal existence isn't climate change or advanced UV weaponry. It is their absolutely unhinged lifestyle. Let us begin with the most fundamental aspect of vampiric existence: the night. Historically, the setting of the sun was a psychological trigger. When the sky bruised purple and black, mortals understood their place in the food chain. They locked their heavy oak doors, barred their windows, huddled around the hearth, and trembled at the howling of the wind. The night was my kingdom. I was the undisputed sovereign of the dark. Today, the night has been entirely hijacked. If I step out of my penthouse at 2 a.m., eager to stretch my leathery wings and strike terror into the hearts of men, what do I find? Traffic jams, blinding LED billboards, and worst of all, 24/7 coffee shops packed to the brim with 20-somethings staring blankly into glowing rectangles, aggressively typing away on mechanical keyboards. Do you comprehend the humiliation of this? Just last week, I spotted a young man walking alone down a desolate, foggy alleyway at 3:15 a.m. A textbook scenario. I descended from the rooftops, landing silently behind him. I unfurled my cloak, letting my eyes glow a menacing, bloody crimson. I prepared to hiss a spine-chilling greeting. He didn't even flinch. He didn't look back. He merely sighed, held up his phone, and muttered, "If I don't finish this code by 8 a.m., my project manager is going to literally murder me." He was more afraid of a middle management mortal named Kevin than an immortal creature of the night. I stood there, cape billowing in the wind, feeling utterly useless. Hunting no longer feels like the exhilarating pursuit of an apex predator. It feels like working the graveyard shift at a 24-hour convenience store. The fear is gone. The respect is gone. My prey is staying up later than I am. By 4 a.m., my ancient joints are aching, my eyes are heavy, and I just want to return to my coffin. Meanwhile, these kids are cracking open their third can of a neon green energy drink, vibrating at a frequency that could shatter glass, and declaring that the night is still young. It is an outrage, an absolute travesty. How am I supposed to be a creature of the night when the youth of today treat the hours between midnight and dawn as their primary time to overthink their existence and watch short-form videos of cats dancing? To a vampire, blood is not merely fuel. It is an experience. It is culinary art. A true connoisseur appreciates the terroir of a vintage. In the 14th century, the blood of a blacksmith offered a robust, earthy profile, heavy with iron and the honest sweat of physical labor. The aristocrats of the Renaissance, smooth, rich, with a delicate hint of gout and roasted pheasant. Even the Victorian era, despite its smog, provided a melancholic, poetic bouquet that went down like a fine, aged Bordeaux. But the youth of today? The Gen Z vintage. I state this with no exaggeration. It is an absolute public health crisis, and the Vampire Council needs to issue a biological hazard warning immediately. Feeding on a college student in the year 2026 is no longer a romantic act of nocturnal predation. It is a game of chemical Russian roulette. I'm practically risking my immortal life every time I sink my fangs into a neck. The sheer volume of synthetic compounds coursing through their veins is staggering. Just last month, driven by a terrible thirst, I ambushed a young woman outside a university library. She was draped in oversized sweatpants, clutching a plastic cup filled with a substance that looked suspiciously like swamp water, but smelled of pure, unadulterated artificial sweetener. I struck swiftly, seeking that glorious, copper-rich rush of life. Instead, what hit my palate was a devastating concoction of cold brew coffee, excessive amounts of taurine from a neon-pink energy drink, and the lingering, chemical aftertaste of a blue raspberry electronic cigarette. The immediate physiological backlash was terrifying. I, a majestic creature of the night who once slumbered peacefully through the bombing of London, found myself vibrating at a frequency that could shatter stained glass. I experienced my very first sugar crash at the age of 1,000. My fangs ached. My heart, dormant for centuries, began to palpitate wildly in my chest. I spent the next 72 hours unable to sleep in my coffin, frantically pacing the ceiling of my crypt, and suddenly struck by an overwhelming urge to reorganize my collection of antique daggers by color, chronological order, and emotional resonance. And don't even get me started on the epidemic of boba. Do you know what it feels like to expect the velvety, smooth texture of human plasma, only to be overwhelmed by the essence of brown sugar syrup and synthesized taro root? I am a predatory lord of darkness, not a participant in a dessert-tasting menu. And the microplastics. My ancestors worried about drinking from someone with the plague. I have to worry about whether the blood I am consuming has the textural consistency of a recycled water bottle. I swear, The blood today has pulp. It is grotesque. The medical repercussions are becoming impossible to ignore. I recently consulted with Dr. Alaric, a fellow immortal who practices out of a subterranean clinic in Prague, and his findings were deeply humiliating. He informed me that my vampiric triglycerides are through the roof. Valerius, he told me, adjusting his monocle, you have the cholesterol of a mortal who exclusively consumes heavily processed cheese dust and spicy corn chips. You need to switch your diet to organic, free-range humans who practice yoga, or you are going to have an immortal stroke. How has it come to this? I survived the Holy Inquisition. I survived the Salem witch trials. Yet I am slowly being poisoned from the inside out by the secondary consumption of flamin' hot Cheetos and iced lattes with oat milk and extra caramel drizzle. My digestion is ruined. My sleep schedule is a mockery. I am an apex predator who now requires a daily antacid and a detox cleanse just to function. The tragedy is profound. The youth are marinating themselves in chemicals, and we, the noble creatures of the night, are paying the ultimate digestive price.